Hello and welcome to InSight. I'm Wendy Brokaw.
And I'm Ross Sutherland.
We are talking today about a project going on at the Oregon State Penitentiary, a Japanese garden. Can you believe that? A Japanese garden is going in over there. And we wanted to know all about it, so we invited two people heavily involved with the project to tell us all about it. Would you please welcome in studio Patrice and Audrey. Thank you for joining us today.
Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah. So tell us about your roles at the prison.
Yeah, how did you get involved in corrections? Patrice.
I got involved through a very good friend, and I was looking for a new career. And I landed in the activities department as a recreation specialist.
Oh,
and
my.
I found
Is that
my
what you
niche.
do there?
Yes.
That is a niche. Audrey, what do you do there?
I'm actually the executive manager. I work within the superintendent's office and assist all of our assistant superintendents and our superintendent. So I'm kind of the hub of the institution.
But you also started out there in a completely different role, didn't you?
I did. I started out in security when I graduated from Western. That was my career path, was to pursue corrections.
Mm. And you, arts and crafts, something, what do you do?
Arts and crafts. So in the activities department, we have 15 clubs and special interest groups. We currently just hired we have 6 recreation specialists, and we each have approximately 3 to 4 groups that we help facilitate. It's a very busy department. The Asian Pacific Family Club is one of those groups.
And that is where this
aspired to.
whole healing garden idea got going, right? With the Asian Pacific Family Club. How did it go? Tell us the story behind the healing garden. I can't believe one's going in.
Yeah. Well, initially I passed by an inmate that was dreaming of seeing a Japanese garden and a koi pond at the prison. And so I simply asked him, well, how are you going to make that happen? What are you going to do about it? So we initially started just with some general research. I asked their club, the executive body, because each club is run like a business. They have a mission statement and everything that they run by. The guys, I said, well, start with a vision board. So when you have your executive body meeting, everybody can see what you're talking about as the same vision. So they started out with a cardboard, construction paper, some gravel. I think there might have been some broccoli out of the chow hall that they put in. And they created a really wonderful vision just on a piece of cardboard. It's expanded from there.
And of course the prison staff would have to say, excuse me, because there are obviously considerations, restrictions, challenges. How was that handled? So that the idea could even get legs under it.
The guys living there, they had, when we take a new idea to our program review committee, the clubs will submit a proposal. It's a paper proposal that says who, what, why, when, where, how, who's it going to affect, here's how we're going to get it done and address those. Well, I had the guys do a PowerPoint presentation because a picture's worth 1,000 words. And they ended up with 42 pages of massive research that I'm so thankful that other staff within the institution were able to help them, research what does this, koi pond thing look like. But they've helped them come up with a lot of ideas. So,
what was and Audrey, what was then the superintendent's thought when this was first presented, and the management?
Well, at first, when it got brought up, we were under a different superintendent at the time, and I remember him thinking, this is a really big project that they want to take on. I mean, there was a lot of variables that they wanted to include in a healing garden because they wanted all the different aspects of a real Japanese healing garden.
Well, and then when you think about it, this would be the first time it's been done in the West at a prison, am I right?
Yes, you're right.
No pressure there.
I know.
Well, so that's all now in the process.
Yes.
What are some of the logistical challenges of a project like this? And I mean, in terms of security and placement and
we're talking like a bridge.
And it's going to be there for permanently. So, and some of the people that are residents there are going to be coming and going. So, who kind of oversees this?
That's a good general question.
Oh.
The security aspects of the project have been considered. For instance, if you've seen the memorial wall, it's about this tall. It's not like a large, large wall that would block.
That you could hide behind.
So we have cameras, we have towers, every line of sight.
Okay.
The placement of the trees has been discussed in that it won't be blocking any cameras, blocking views of towers, because they still need all line of sight.
Sure.
So that's something that the guys have really addressed down to the nth degree of, getting this project through.
And you have to work around building codes.
Right.
So,
Right.
And we also could take into consideration, like a project this large, we want it to be efficient, and we don't want to consume taxpayer dollars in order to run such a large thing like this.
So it won't be taking funds out of the taxpayer budget or the operational budget of the prison to
no.
run?
Right. Like all of the clubs on the activities floor, they are required to raise all their own funding. So where this started was we incrementally, small steps. But first thing was to find out what grants are out there.
What was it? Tell me about on their brochure about the celebrating the Asian Pacific Family Club. They have in here what their mission is: diminishing boundaries and overcoming barriers. How do you think that this garden, which is for everybody, is going to have what I would call a healing effect or a transformative effect?
It's it's going to have that positive light into where, even though these offenders and staff members are behind walls and they're inside a prison looking at the healing garden, they're going to feel like they're not in a prison. They're going to feel a rejuvenation being out there and being with the greens and the koi pond, and just, it's a good light at the end of the tunnel that they're going to be able to view. And this, for inmates and staff members, because this can be a very, at times it can be a very depressing environment, having to live inside or having to work inside. So this is going to definitely shed some light on that.
Well, and also the sense of pride of building, of making such an important project come to fruition. I mean, if you can do that with a garden at a prison, you could make changes in your own life.
If you can learn to write a grant, if you can learn to follow a project and watch it as it changes and be a part of a process that involves management, a designer, all the elements that go into a big project like that, that has to itself be transformative.
They initially started just with the project. They did an inside the walls survey, and not sure how that would react, like, that'll never happen, or why would we want that? They got very, very positive feedback from the whole community inside the prison. So that launched it to go further. And what I've seen it develop into is where maybe our adults in custody looking at security staff and they're just trying to get away with something sometimes. It has turned the thought process and the boundaries between the staff. They're very professional. It's working relationship in that they have not such a harsh, maybe, reality of staff, of the administration who are helping them make this happen. And the other way around is realizing that these intelligent men who are making this happen were doing the research to make it happen, and it's been a great collaboration.
We were lucky that we had the designer himself, Hoichi Kurusu, come to our studios here in speaking tour, because he's really embraced this project. He is not only donating his time and the design itself for it to the inmates for this project, but he's talking up about why a Japanese garden has such healing powers. And I'd like to show a clip of the interview that we'll be showing in full later on, but let's take a look at that video right now.
Remember, healing means you have to have receptive mind. The receptive mind means is you have something carry preconceived idea or word noise you're hearing, then you don't get it. You have to empty your heart. And The Japanese garden is, for example, usually going into the garden is a gate there. That goes through under the gate means symbolizing without the consciousness, or I'm going down to the new world. Go along the way, pathway, the branches come down to you, in front of you. Western landscape, that's the danger or something like that, cut it off. But the Japanese garden don't do that. Just move up or duct it, go through it. That means is you become humble. Teaching you, nature teaching you humbleness. The Japanese garden, the path is never straight, meandering, right? And you look at the pathway, the going meandering here like this, or the other side of the bend is something there, kind of expectation and wondering. That thought, if you receive that way, is you are ready for receptive mind of the, the nature's B1. And this area waterfall is the very one of the attractive element for Japanese garden. But people interpret many ways. I was born there and running through it, kind of things, and to imagine your life also. But in a pure sense, I see this prisoner, everything gone. They have nothing in that. Want to do something good for the people, community, and become the friend each other. That desire never come out from angry thought. So that's why so much I'm so excited about what we are doing, what I am doing to striving to help the people to make the empty and receive the good sound and the good, the teaching, the nature teaching us. That's Japanese garden does. It's if I say more so going through it, and here is a koi pond, and feeding koi. It's not only, cat is just, you might say the same thing, but it's for this limited condition for these prisoners, living things, it is a fantastic, what do you call, is a comfort. And that's the, tell them is something hope, something, re-energize, I can live another day.
It's kind of a new way of going through life, it sounds
right, like. It's exactly, but it's not without the struggling. Should be with joy. Has to be. In order to have a joy, that maintenance or making garden have to come out from here.
A healing garden will be in stark contrast to what inmates see all day, every day.
Yeah.
So what effect do you think it will have on inmates and even the staff to watch this garden, to see it going through the seasons, changing? What do you think that's going to do to people?
Another very important question that, inmate, not many people, or some people knows, but it's if you see the life is in the inside of the wall, is rusted, some of the rusted iron, fence and the door, and the inside is a very small room, toilet, dirty toilet, and a thin bed on the floor. They're living there, the environment. On the top of it, you don't have anything to play with it, or listen to it, or watch it, anything. And then that environment, living inmate, go through beside the garden or in the garden. They have I believe and I wish and I believe in is such a sensation in their mind. Is there is another world which we're living there, and such a I don't know, they want to get out more quickly or whatever, but it's a good thought. It's give them. It's nature is such a power to them to encouraging their dense heart is much more opened up and brighten them, and even hope, oh, I want to do something good. Healing garden is not a one person or inmate only. It's relating everything. It's a visitors even. Everything included heal. That's the healing garden. That's where I look at.
Would you like to see other prisons in the United States or elsewhere do what we're doing here? This is unique here.
Well, it's I think healing process is you can take many, many forms, but it's yes, I like to see because of the Japanese gardens principle has to make you spread the second is forget about everything and to receive that sensation, then accumulating and over again. Sometime you become good man.
Isn't that marvelous?
That's amazing.
Yeah, he's a great person with his enthusiasm is infectious.
Can you tell us more about other community partners that you're working with?
Well, initially when our good friend Margaret Bagley heard that Karisu was involved, she said, anything he's involved in, I want to help with. And she's been a huge supporter of this project. She's always said, it's such a right idea. Do you follow right ideas and they happen? So she and her daughter Pam, we have Professor Michaud from Willamette University, Cheryl Dawson. We have several really strong supporters, and that was important to gain a trusted few people that have really made a great impact. So to watch it roll outside of the walls, as we say, it just was such like, wow, this is really happening. Yeah.
And how does this project sort of be a microcosm of relationships between the staff and the inmates in a larger
something's going on at the prison.
Yeah, well,
transformation.
The Department of Corrections, our mission is that we value pro-social behaviors. We like to know, more than just, oh, it's inmate so-and-so. And, we really get to know who our offenders are, our adults in custody, and we really engage with one another and speak with each other.
If somebody wants to get involved, to donate, or to just get involved, but especially to donate because funds are needed, where do they go? What do they do?
The organization nakasek.org/garden. They've been generous enough to set up a web page with some general information about the project. We have a lot of in-depth information on the DOC website. You have to go through the Oregon State Penitentiary website activities and then the Asian Club, and they have updates on that all the time.
Well, that's great. Then we will update this project.
Thank you.
We will present every step of the way we possibly can. That would be wonderful.
That would be great.
Thank you for having us.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you for joining us today
wonderful.
on InSight. This has been a revelation, a terribly exciting program for people to see about and donate to if they wish to. Thank you for joining us today on InSight. I'm Wendy Brokaw.
And I'm Ross Sutherland.
We'll see you again next time.